I'm Stephen Cristobal. I am originally from New York, but I live in Denver, Colorado, where I own a hair salon. I've been a hair colorist for the past 32 years. I'm the father of 5, and that's where my greatest inspiration comes from. I get to do one of the greatest jobs in the world. I get to help people feel really good about who they are. I've always loved doing hair. I was inspired to do hair color in the beginning. Although I'm licensed as a cosmetologist, I can do everything. But for the past 32 years, I've been doing strictly hair color. So that's really where my passion lies. I also educate. I've done that for my entire career. And that really is about me giving back to the industry. But it's also about seeing people be able to reach their goals and their dreams. And if I can facilitate that, that really is what makes me the happiest. Hi, my name is Stephen Cristobal, and today I want to share with you architectural foiling. Architectural foiling is a concise, geometric way to design individual techniques. Architectural foil allows you to unleash your own creativity, learns for the day, creating your own techniques, formulation, contouring to each individual, matching skin tone to hair color, proper application, easy consultation, as well as time efficiency. So to keep it simple, we want to work geometrically in only 4 different directions. The first direction is diagonally back. The second direction will be horizontal. The third direction is diagonally forward. And lastly, we can work vertically. By working these different directions, a horizontal line will give you structure. A vertical line will create length. Diagonally back will create blending, and diagonally forward will create blending with structure. Using something mathematical and geometrical, which is a universal language, will allow for individuality. Everybody gets to have an individual look. The first thing that we want to do is look at her from a profile, bring her head up. We want to lay the comb on the top of the head, and wherever the comb itself drops off of the head, that is going to be our control point. From that control point, diagonally forward to the outside of the eyebrow, creating sections 4 and 5. If you want to move from the front to the back, you're welcome to do that also. From the outside of the eyebrow, right to the control point, creating sections 4 and 5. Moving to the back of the head, off of that same control point, we want to move diagonally to the back of the head, about 1 or a half inch behind the ear. So just follow this line, diagonally back, clean the line as necessary, creating sections 3. Same on the opposite side. So we're moving from the control point, following that first diagonal line, and moving diagonally back behind the ear. Creating section 2. And from behind, allowing section 1 to reveal itself. I want to show you the top of the head. And you should start with a perfect X from the control point forward as well as behind. And keep your sections clean here. And of course, we're going to start here in section 1. Moving diagonally, we're going to slice everything. Nothing is going to be woven. Here's our first piece. Here will be our second piece. And when the two of those come together, you'll see that they create a tent over the crown, allowing you to cover any cowlick or the crown at one time with a very blended line. Geometry is about the relationship of lines and points and the angles that they form. So when you work over a round surface and you connect certain lines, you create a greater amount of color just by connecting the lines, as opposed to not connecting the lines. What we're going to use today for the model's hair is Majorelle High Lift, 0.11 with a blue base and 40 volume developer. Ammonia-free Studio Lightener Platinum with 30 volume, and we'll surround all of that work with a global application of Dia Richesse, equal proportions of 7 neutral and 8 neutral with 9 volume. I've come up with this system where I can do multi-dimensional work in a small amount of time. So I break everything down, but it's the highest dollar yield you'll get in the salon because it's multiple processes at once, which is your highest price point. Starting in section 1, move along that first diagonal line that you created from the control point, 3 to 4 inches down on the head. Bring the head horizontally to your shoulders so it's easier for application. Here we're separating with foil. A small fold inward to yourself. There's the line that you're looking for. The Majorelle High Lift on an angle in the application. We're going to use the corner of the brush. The corner of the brush is a triangular. Slowly drift that color onto the regrowth. And this will create a natural look to the outgrowth of the hair, so it's a more seamless application. You want to bring that down about 2 inches, maybe 3 inches at the most. Let's move to our ammonia-free platinum. And we want to drift that slightly over the high lift tint as well as through the mid shaft and the ends. Again, with an angular application, just a soft drift, so a slow and steady movement across the plane. And we want to carry that all the way down through the ends of the hair, a little more product at a time. Bring the ends up. And now we want to fold halfway, then all the way, and bring the corners in. Move to the opposite side, moving diagonally again, 3 to 4 inches down on the section, completely slicing, small fold on the foil, close to the head, high lift blonde in an angular application using the corner of the brush. This will give you a softer transition and a more graceful grow out. Bring that down 2 to 3 inches. And then move back to the lightener. Again, drifting your color. Some of it is overlapping over the high lift tint. And then the rest of it is all lightener to the ends of the hair. And it's a double fold, so halfway up, then all the way up, and close the ends. And what you should start to look at is a tent forming toward the crown of the head. Like a chevron, which is just triangles pointing forward, we want to move twice the amount of the hair that's in the foil as contrast, following that same diagonal line. You're working on a round surface, which is the head, and you're creating triangles on the head. Triangles look good on a round surface. That's the epiphany, is that a triangle looks good on a round surface. Every section becomes a triangle, and the application within the foil in every section is also a triangle. Every foil connects to another foil, so you're able to work through the head much more efficiently and do much less work if you use geometry to get you there. So all these triangles on the head makes less work for you, less time doing the project, which equals you making more money. Here we can continue to move down throughout the section. So here, very simply, 4 foils tented into the back of the head. Section 1. Now we can move to section 2. Section 2, we want to start at the hairline, and we want to move in a diagonal line so that it's blended. So here we are in section 2, at the front of the hairline, moving in a diagonal way for blending. We want to work off of the immediate hairline. So we want to just take a thin slice and leave that out, and take a slice right behind that as our first section. Once again, the high lift tint. It's an angular application just to create a more blended line within the foil. This will eliminate straight lines of demarcation. And then we just want to slowly drift the lightener over part of the high lift tint. There's no wrong way to do this. And then again, all the way through the mid shaft, right through to the ends, and a double fold. Close the ends. So remember, it's important, we've left a thin section out prior to that first foil. This will eliminate straight lines of demarcation at the hairline. We want to do that one more time. So we should be approaching the back of the ear at this point. 2 foils in the front. From the bottom of the first foil, diagonally forward, to the end of the second foil in section 2. You'll create a box that you're leaving out here. And your next piece of foil will connect the foil in the back to the foil in the front. Connect the foil at the top, again, like you connected the one at the bottom. So in section 2, you're now connecting section 1 to section 2. At the top of the foils, as well as at the bottom of the foil. So you can notice that we're creating tents around all the sides so that it has a blended look on the round surface of the head. From the top of this point, moving vertically down, slice the rest of that section in half. Working clean, and connect from the top of these 2 foils to the bottom of these 2 foils. And remember that wherever you connect 2 foils, you essentially create a third foil. This is the way that you keep the amount of foil that's in the head down, but producing a greater result of blonde throughout the hair. Now we want to leave out a major amount of hair in between, so this will consider our negative space. We don't want to overload her. We want to keep a lot of contrast. Remember that wherever we're connecting, we're getting more than 1 foil as a result. And the way that you want to visualize this is how much of the darker hair are you leaving as opposed to how much of the lighter hair are you putting in. So we want to change our view, not how much light is going in, but how much dark is staying within the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're finished with sections 1 and 2. On section 3, repeat what you did on section 2. So it's going to be 2 diagonal foils in the front, diagonal forward at the top of that section, 1 vertical in the middle, as well as a diagonal forward at the bottom of that section. So it's 5 foils in the opposite side, section 3, to replicate what we did in section 2. Here's our finished model. This is an efficient way to work in about 60 to 75 minutes from start to finish. It's a highlight, low light, as well as a global application. We did 20 foils, as well as a base color. Remember that we started in the back, working through the crown. 4 foils. We moved to the side section. We worked diagonally forward, as well as diagonally back. And you can see that we have a much softer transition from the natural hair through the midshaft and the ends. We eliminated straight lines of demarcation by applying in an angular fashion within the foil. We merely used the foil to separate the mediums, the color at the base and the color in between the foils. We took advantage of architecture, which was the building of structures, and we wanted to keep that simple. We worked in an architectural fashion, so we had an overall concept as well as design. We wanted to produce a natural looking outgrowth, continuously getting lighter through the midshaft and the ends. And the way that we achieved this was through simple geometry, the relationships of the lines and the angles. Everywhere that we connected more than one foil, we created the look of another foil or a stronger piece of color. We blended and we worked diagonally back in the front. What we did today, we separated in foil, but architectural allows you to foil. You can do successful block color, and you can also do freehand strand selection. So here's our finished product. Hope you guys enjoyed what we shared with you today. This is a very quick and efficient way for you to take less time in the salon to produce a great result like this. Hopefully you'll be able to use this in the future, and it made it much easier for you to approach your day and how you're foiling the hair. Architectural foiling is using simple geometry to produce the greatest look throughout the hair. Each person that we work on leaves with a very unique look. So I enjoy creating. When I'm doing hair, I'm always trying to create a technique, a new way to format for someone's head. We do what we love because we love what we do. It's a passion. I get to learn as much as I share, so they learn from me, but they don't realize, I don't think, that I'm really learning so much from them. And that's really why I continue to do that.